I'm Hannah.
And I'm Jess.
And I'm Natalie. Welcome to the Stride Sisters podcast. On today's episode, we have a very special guest joining us. Our friend Jess is here to share all about her experience at the Disneyland Half Marathon Weekend. From race day excitement to park time, the best eats, and the overall vibe of this long-awaited Run Disney Coast to Coast challenge, Jess is giving us the full recap. And, of course, we're chatting about what's next, because she's heading to Princess Half Marathon Weekend later this month. So, lace up your shoes and step into the magic with us.
It's like I did nothing.
No, it's not. You actually did it. Whereas I ran, not at all. Genuinely did not run. Haven't done a strength workout. Haven't done anything. But I've also had a headache for 6 days in a row. So, So tell us, Natalie, what's your training update?
So, been getting back on the wagon a little bit, just in time for Princess Half Marathon Weekend. I did a 12-mile run. I guess it's 8 days ago by the time you guys all hear this, 9 days ago. But I didn't talk about it last week, so here we are. And let me tell you, this is not the same set of legs that just ran a marathon 4 weeks ago. It is not.
You're
and that's
scaring
okay.
me.
So a lot of it, I think, was user error of it's like I ran dopey and all the things that I know about doing a long run just went, woo, bye. So things like I didn't feel super well the day before. During the run was fine. I wasn't super well hydrated. Things like watching my sodium, things like don't go out on your long run too fast. You know, these basic things that I chirp about week in and week out. Nope, they were gone. Bye. Slid out of my brain, slid down, nothing. So I was beating myself up a little bit about it, and I was like, yo, what happened? And then, you take a step back and you remember it would be a little weird if I had the same reaction of running as I did prior to dopey, especially because I've taken a little bit of an extended break. And I think also I was a little hard on myself because of the whole late onset dopey downer thing. Mm-hmm. So taking a step back, I'm fine. It's fine. If that's just, I still got out there and got it done. And even if I didn't, it's fine, right? I don't think last year I really did anything double digits between the marathon, except for Disneyland. Okay, yeah, I did do that. Between Coast to Coast and then Princess, I don't think I did. I think I capped out around 6 or 7. So we're doing better than that. And I still was able to make things work there. Yeah. So I think that also maybe because I just hit a big PR at Marathon Weekend, that maybe I shouldn't put the pressure on myself to aim for that for Princess. It's sometimes we put pressure on ourselves and that makes things tougher than they need to be. Weird. But yeah, I'm back on the wagon on strength training too. My butt hurts and we're recording this in advance. So my butt probably still hurts though. So I'm going to leave that there for you.
Kristen will love that.
Yes, it hasn't even. I haven't even encountered a butt stuff Friday in a while, and I'm scared.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't done any training really in over a week because I've had a headache for 6 straight days, and I also went out of town to celebrate a friend's baby shower, and I haven't seen them in 2 or 3 years, so I just really wanted to make the most of that time that I could spend with them, especially before their life is about to become completely different and forever changed. So I've just been taking it easy, and I'm sure I will not regret that, but my body will be feeling it. What about you, special guest Jess? What are your training updates?
So I have not trained at all since Dopey to Disneyland. I only did the half at Disneyland and I was like, how did I just do Dopey? I was so sore. I'm not sore anymore, but Monday I couldn't walk.
Oh, no.
I was so slow at the airport. I was like, go ahead. My friend went to Disneyland with me and I was like, you go ahead and I'll catch up to you.
Felt.
But we
I've
are
been
good.
there.
But we are good now. And I'm like, do I run more before Princess or not? Probably should. So I'm not dying.
As of recording, you've got like 2.5 roughly weeks. So I
Yeah,
mean, I would say run, but don't like do anything crazy.
right.
Because
Yeah, no,
like theoretically, this is probably taper for some people.
yeah. I will be in Disney 2 weeks from day of recording. So here we are.
Whoop
Woo!
whoop. All right. And no injuries to report. Everyone can walk. No new blisters.
No. No
No,
new
we
blisters from Disneyland. Shocked.
hooray.
So shocked.
That's good.
Anastasia has mostly left me. She's
That's good.
well, I kind of like I'm used to her presence now, so it's kind of sad if I'm being real with you. Almost a whole fiscal quarter that she's been on my toe, so
Yeah.
on and off.
Oh.
So I don't know.
The one on the side of my foot that has I thought was gone. It is gone, but it was a lot deeper than I realized. So like the scar isn't the right word, but like you can still tell that it was there. So I
Left a
have a fond
handprint on your
yeah,
heart.
it left a fond memory behind. All right, let's get to our countdown.
Happy Love on the Run virtual 14 miler because this week is Valentine's Day and I know boxes are going out, so we hope you're enjoying your virtual 14 miler challenge or if you're doing that.
And if you have pictures, send them. We would love to see and celebrate your accomplishments. So,
Yes.
yay. We've got 9 days until Princess Weekend 2025. Less than a week. This is your hydration reminder. Start now.
Indeed.
And yeah, I'm really excited. Are you excited, Jess?
I'm so excited. And thank you for that hydration reminder because that was my issue before Disneyland. Did not hydrate enough.
It's like you've run
Everyone needs a
dopey and
little
you
help.
forget. You forget.
Mhm.
Yes.
It's all gone.
All gone. Everything.
Yep. All right, we've got 51 days until Springtime Surprise Weekend 2025. We have 205 days until Disneyland Halloween Half Marathon 2025 and the start of a new season. Your shirt deadline is tomorrow, February 12th, 2025. So if you need to make a change, this is basically your last chance. So go do that. Your proof of time deadline is still a little bit further out. It's April 1st. It's not a joke. We're serious. Make sure you get that in. We have 254 days until Wine and Dine Half Marathon Weekend 2025. General registration is today. Congrats to everyone. We hope you get all the races your heart desires and that it's not too stressful. And if you are stressed out, we hope you're listening right now and that this can bring you joy.
Wait, T for a second.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my Wine and Dine early registration for Club Run Disney because I haven't, by the time of recording, I will have had to have pulled the trigger or not. But the drop downs for your anticipated pace per mile for the 10K, I'm looking at the challenge because duh, is like it goes from under 7 minutes to 7 to 8, and then your normal 8 to 10, 10 to 12. But I've never seen under 7 before.
So
So
they've
I think
added
that,
another category.
yes. And then the 7 to 8 is also its own category. Isn't that crazy?
I guess. I mean, because, like, why do they need it if you have to submit your proof of time anyways in that range, right?
Well, for a 10K, you don't have to. So you always put in your
But if you
estimated
are,
finish time. But yeah, no, I mean, you always have to do this either way. However, sometimes if in the past, they've done it where they split your bib, so it's sometimes you're C for one race and C for the other. So my favorite is when somebody is D for one race and then E for the other, because then their bib says die, because there's a line in between. Where Disneyland does the split corrals still. Walt Disney World, dopey, yes, but hasn't since Princess in 2023. So maybe that's an indication that comes back. Maybe it's just, I don't know. They just need to further differentiate it, but
Yeah.
hilarious.
Hmm.
And yes, I like have half filled out a registration for Wine and Dine. Still don't know what I'm doing though yet.
You should just do it.
It's the Chicago of it all. That's my hesitation, is that since I'm running the Chicago Marathon 2 weeks before, that's the only reason I'm hesitating. Otherwise, like, I mean, clearly I'm sitting here looking at the link and like, I think I'm gonna, but I don't know.
My hesitation is, and this is for you, Mom, is that I want to buy a house. So I think 2025 is mostly going to be the year of like local races that are much less expensive than Disney. And I'll just have to be cheering you guys on from the sidelines. We'll see.
It does fit in your AP though. I'm just saying, without renewing.
We'll see. I have time. As of recording, I have time. As of drop, I don't.
True.
Proof of time deadline for Wine and Dine will be May 1st, 2025. We have 330 days until Marathon Weekend 2026 with Club Run Disney registration on March 4th, 2025 and general registration on March 3rd, 2025.
March
Ben
11th.
and I have already You're right, March 11th. I can't read, guys. Don't worry about it. Ben and I have already discussed, and I think we are definitely gonna do something in Marathon Weekend, just undecided on what. I think Ben wants to do standalone marathon. I might do Goof.
Goofy supremacy.
I think that it's going to be an enjoyable experience if I do Goofy. It's less time, less wake ups, and still get an extra medal. I'm attached to the extra medals.
I feel like I just want to do dopey. Like that will be number 3 for me.
Oh, that's awesome. When was your first dopey?
Last year. So
Okay, so consecutive.
Yeah.
Wow.
When it was a half of a half. So I was like really nervous this past dopey because I'm like, oh, it's the full half.
Wait, same.
Yeah.
I did Goofy in 24, but I was like, okay, like what if I like can't? What if I
Right.
can't do that?
That was my like thought process. So then once I finished the half marathon, I was like, okay, like I got this.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, and then I was like, okay, buddy, like you did it a couple of years ago when you were a lot less well trained and everything happened leading up to that first dopey, so I think you'll be fine. But on the other hand, I was like, but like, what if I can't? Like, what if this is just where I end? Like on the road leading toward the Polynesian, at that porta potty at the med tent. Like, what if this is just it?
That's so interesting that both of you guys are on like multiples and you were having that like feeling, because this was my first dopey and I think I just had like a way overinflated sense of confidence going into it. Probably because of how terribly my first marathon went, that going into the half, I just felt really confident in my training, and when I got to the end and nothing hurt, I was like, wow, we've got this.
Yeah.
It's maybe it's like kids, they have no fear because they don't know what to expect. So maybe next time, then I'll be like, oh, was this a good idea?
Yeah, but you experienced the full dopey.
Mm-hmm.
Like honestly, I was so anxious about the half for months before dopey. So like I cried at the
Because that
finish.
was your first half, right?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Dopey was my
Wow.
so
So both
That's
of
funny.
you have done a half before you did a full.
No, the
Or
other way
sorry, did a
around.
full. Sorry,
Yes.
did a full before you did a half.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I went from 10 milers straight to marathon, skipped half.
Yep.
don't know if I would say recommend. Probably depends on how long you've been running and your confidence level of like really wanting to commit, but and how long you have to train. There's a lot of factors, but it was quite the jump.
But the medals are so cute. So
Mm,
I'm here for the medals.
yes, absolutely. All right, Natalie, do you have some Disney news for us?
Somewhat limited at this point in time, but you know. Jelly Rolls on the boardwalk will be relocating. I got nothing on when or where. It's rumored, like strong rumor to be off Disney property though.
Mm.
So it's not like it's going to go to Disney Springs. Most likely. I guess something that had been a consistent problem is parking at the boardwalk. So
Mm.
people would get turned away when they went to go to Jelly Rolls, which because there was just limited parking. So we'll see what comes of that. I knew that things have been swirling around that it would close though. I think for a while, so I wasn't entirely surprised to see the news, but I guess keep an eye on Jelly Rolls of socials if you are looking for information on that. Other piece that I got is It's Tough to Be a Bug will close on March 17th. No St. Patrick's Day is their bang up job. Their way to brawl and go out. To make way for Zootopia Better Zootopia, which will come in winter 2025. They have the permits
That's
ready.
fast,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I guess it's only one ride and it's like one room kind of, to renovate versus like a whole ride that maybe goes through like a backstage area and stuff, but it just feels quick.
Yeah, it does, but also doesn't because I wonder if like they have like a animatronic that they're going to put in to replace Creepy Hopper. Um,
Probably. I mean,
do
they can the way that attraction is built out, they could basically prefab almost everything for that attraction and then it's all just installation, so that's fair. So,
you know
yeah, I guess not.
sidetrack? I've always wanted to do a bracket on animatronics and like who would win in a fight, and Hopper was one of the ones that never really came to mind until now. Like I had money
Hopper would crush it.
on Stitch's, what's left of the Stitch animatronic in Stitch's Great Escape because it's like bones at this point. I mean, not that it was ever, but um, yeah, no, Hopper's terrifying. I think he would just scare you away. We can table that for a different. That is not going to be our March
Yeah.
Madness bracket this year, but might table that for another day.
And what about our Disney fun fact?
Oh, I'm so ready. Uh, on today in 2000, the Tigger movie premieres.
Whoop whoop.
What?
This is the first time Pooh and the gang have appeared in a theatrical feature film. Previously, it was mostly shorts, and the music was by the Sherman Brothers. I have like Tigger saying TTFE Tata forever like ingrained in my head because I remember being shook as a child watching that. So important news today. And then in 2011, on February 11th, Mickey's Toontown Fair at the Magic Kingdom closes permanently to make way for new Fantasyland and all that's construction.
Oh. So
That's
that would
weird.
have
That was 14 years ago.
yeah. Huh.
Eek.
I have many thoughts, but I'm going to need to mull them over.
Excellent. Passage of time. Weird.
Yeah. Timey-wimey. All right. You ready to jump in to
Oh,
our main attraction, which is Jess,
yay!
our star, our star attraction. Jess,
And her
let the people
California
know.
adventure.
Yeah, let us know. Tell the people who you are. We probably should have done this a little earlier, but
Okay. All right. So I'm Jess. My first run Disney event was a springtime of 22, the 10-mile Tower of Terror.
Nice.
My friend that lives down there, she like was like, I'm signing us up for a race. And I was like, okay. So I went into that with no training. And I was like, okay, like a one and done. Let's do this. But then ever since, I was like, okay, I love this. Fun fact, I've never done a local race. I've only done Disney races.
There's something to be said for the Disney magic.
Yes. Like, if you're going to run a marathon, just do it at Disney.
It seems like sound advice to me.
I
Yeah.
think so. I think Disney races, and as someone who has done a world major, even though there's obviously like really fast people and stuff, like there's no like dead space in a world major, so those are also fun because there's just like high energy similar to Disney.
Okay. Maybe one day I'll try one. But as of now, like, Run Disney just takes all of my money.
Yeah, yeah, they're
Same.
very relatable. Honestly, I think I'm trying to think of how much I paid to run Chicago, and I want to say that Disney is comparable, if not possibly more expensive. So,
I believe that.
yeah.
So yeah, so then after springtime, I did just the 5Ks, wine and dine weekend. I think it was Cocoa themed. And
Okay.
then Princess weekend. I think it was a Jasmine medal for 5K.
Mhm.
And then the 5K for marathon weekend in 23. And then I saw
Okay.
everyone with like all the medals, and I was like, I'm gonna do dopey next year. So then here I
Wow, what a
am.
jump.
We love it.
But honestly, a very relatable jump because I went from running just standalone, like I did the 10-miler springtime surprise my first time, and then I moved on to a marathon like a crazy person, not at Disney, and then came back for my first. I went straight into a princess challenge. So I saw all the medals and I was like, oh, wait, if I do these, I get an extra one. Like, we got to max out the number of medals. And that's how we ended up with Dopey. So,
Yes, and dopey has been my first like Run Disney challenge. So like
Ooh.
Princess Weekend coming up, like Fairy Tale Challenge, this will be my first challenge that hasn't been dopey.
it's a
Oh,
good one.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited to get a Snow White medal, same year as dopey. Yes.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh, yes. You better. Okay, so you're definitely going to have to bring your Dopey medal back with you so that you
I'm
can have
bringing
your
all of
Dopey
them.
medal. Yes. And you
Yes.
can do like a photo with, like, if you go to Storybook Dining or meet the characters in the parks and like take the oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's a group of us. We actually have a capture your moment photo session booked for
Yes.
Sunday. So I'm like, I will be bringing all of my medals and my coast to coast that I love.
Very good.
I love.
Maybe I need to look and see if I can still schedule a capture the moment so I can uh redo my experience for marathon, just get a couple different photos and just get all the princess stuff since stupid security got me this year.
Brutal.
It's fine. We want people to
Yeah.
be safe, but like my medals were not a danger, so
Right, like I got them from you guys, so it should be okay.
This isn't whatever that race was that I think it was in Miami, Florida, where it was like a dangerous metal, a
Yeah,
flat, and it was a couple
it
weeks
was the
before
Miami
Princess last
Marathon.
year, where it was like very, very spiky, and people were like, so this tangled metal, we good? We were good.
Good.
So, going over to the West Coast, was this your first time at Disneyland ever?
Yes. So this was my first ever visit to Disneyland. So obviously my first ever Disneyland race. I was just in there for the half marathon, but I was like, I just need that coast to coast medal.
Fair.
So we arrived on Thursday. We left at like 2 a.m. here. So I live in Erie, Pennsylvania. So 3 hours behind or ahead.
Yeah, ahead.
California's 3 hours behind. So it was just a very long travel day. So we flew. I think we got into LA at like 12:30 in the afternoon. Stayed at Motel 6. Literally great. There were so many runners there. um, I'll talk about like how close it was to the race when we get there. But went to the expo. Okay. Loved it. In and out within like a half an hour. Like
Wow.
no lines, no nothing. Literally walked in, got my bib. There was no one in front of me. And it was all in the same building, which was very nice. So, like, got our bibs, walked down the stairs, got our shirts, and then, like, the expo, like, the health stuff was there, and then the merchandise. Not crazy at all. Like, 10 out of 10 recommend. Like, Disney World, like, needs to be like this.
Do you think that was a function of, like, the timing of when you were at the expo,
Maybe.
or
Because it was like 4. I'm like 4 in the afternoon. So
okay.
maybe. But like it was just so nice. So at the expo, I literally just bought myself a magnet though. I was like, I'll save the coast to coast stuff medal when I go back for Princess to get the AP discount.
True.
Mhm.
Yes. But yeah. So the expo was just so nice. Met Jeff Galloway again. Had to get my not daily, but my picture with every race event. I always go see him.
Oh.
And yeah. So then I went to bed so early that night though, because it was a very long travel day.
Mhm. It's a good reset.
Yes. So since I just was doing the half marathon, the
Standalone.
next day, the
Eh.
5K, yeah. The 5K, we went to Disneyland Park. First time being there, the castle is so small. I don't know
It's
what I
so
was expecting.
small.
It was so small, but I was like, okay, like it's cute. Um, we got all the rides done. It was very like, I don't know, like nostalgic, very like small. I don't know. I got more of an amusement
Interesting that
park
you can feel
feel.
nostalgia. Like, it's interesting that they can create that feeling, even though you've never been there before, just
Right.
with, like, the vibe and, like, how they curate everything.
Yeah. Like Mickey's Toontown, like I feel like I remember like when I was little and I went to Disney World, like Mickey's house was there, like Minnie's house was there. So like that was cool that it was over at Disneyland. Um I don't know. We did get the lightning lane, so we got all the rides done all in the same day. First
Whoa.
time I've ever had beignets. Oh my gosh, so good. We got them from Tiana's place.
Oh,
10 out of
Yum.
10. Recommend. So good. I was like, where
Of
have these
the
been all my life?
hiding at French Quarter.
Yes.
But you can get them in Magic Kingdom now since the Tiana's Bayou Adventure ride is open. You can get beignets in Magic Kingdom.
oh yeah.
I will be
So,
going there
mhm.
when I arrive.
From the rides that you rode that day that exist in both parks, do you have a preference of, like, Disneyland's version versus Disney World's version?
So Haunted Mansion was definitely better at Disneyland.
Okay. I've never been, so
Um
I have no opinion.
it was definitely longer, but I like loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, the ride is longer.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What other rides? It's a Small World was closed for refurb, so couldn't
Oh
Mhm.
ride that.
yeah.
Um
That one's sometimes controversial of what's the better because some people really don't like that added IP related character dolls. I think they're cute having seen them actually a couple of times now. I like that like oh Lilo and Stitch are like in the Mary Blair style doll like in the Hawaii area like where they should
Oh.
be. I think they're cute. I like them, but I know it's somewhat controversial that some people are really mad that they exist in there.
oh
It's crazy what people get upset about.
yeah. What else did we ride? Big Thunder Mountain. Yeah.
Did you make
That
awkward
was
eye contact
much
with the goat?
smoother. Much smoother than Disney World. Did
Oh,
not
okay.
break my back. I just remember it being rough at Disney World. I don't, but yeah. Um, Peter Pan's flight was about the same. Very underwhelming. Like, why does that ride always have such a long wait? I will
Don't
never
say that because
understand.
I haven't ridden it since I was a child, and I keep telling my boyfriend that we need to ride it next time, like to the point where I might purchase a lightning lane or something just to ensure it happens on our next visit.
I mean, I'm all for purchasing a lightning lane for that ride. Because waiting
Okay,
more than I feel like a half an hour is not worth it. I don't know. Some people might
good to keep in
disagree with
mind.
that.
Fight, 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 fight. Uh,
We don't
did you
need to
do
fight anybody on the
pirates?
internet.
Pirates?
Yes.
Yes. I loved it.
So good.
So good.
It's like, for context for Hannah and the listener who has, if you haven't been, it's like 4 times as long at Disneyland. It's like a 20-minute long ride.
Seriously?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. It's gonna happen one of these days. One of these days I'm gonna crack and I'm gonna make it out there.
I
Oh,
feel
I
like
like
the
am fully
Halloween races are
spiraling.
still open.
They are, but again, 2025, I'm manifesting is the year I buy a house, not the year I pay more money to the mouse to go to Disneyland.
Oh, I'm full spiraling and being like, okay, the half is open. I could like get in like Friday night. I could leave Sunday. I'm full spiraling like right now. So
Nope. Nope. I'm trying to be good.
I think it
Trying to be
fits into
good.
my marathon training. I'll make it fit into my marathon training.
And just the coast to coast medal. Like, you have to.
See, here's the thing. I got coast to coast last year. I got the suitcase medal, and I like the suitcase medal. I like it more than I thought I would when I originally saw it and kind of had the bummers about it. Um, but the medal you have is beautiful.
Yeah.
So, conundrum, inner
Yeah.
conflict. It's busy season, but I think I could squeeze that in. I get well, if I'm saying Friday to like Friday, the flight doesn't leave till 7. I won't be still be working then, and then I could get back on Sunday, or even like I could maybe if I'm a good noodle all summer, like like Monday get off. I don't know.
I feel like it bumps up against my sister's wedding. I feel like there's like other reasons besides
There
just
are.
being good that there were reasons that I decided against it. I don't know what they are right now, but there were
I think
reasons.
it's close to your sister's wedding. I think it's about 2 weeks before your sister's wedding too.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah, something
there
like
are
that.
definitely reasons.
Yeah, that's definitely close. So maybe you do have reasons. Not saying that not buying a house is one of them, because it is.
So many reasons. All right, so then what did you do the next day? Or is there any like food you ate that you want to share or
I
besides the
already said that
beignets, obviously?
beignets. I started and ended my day with them.
Good.
Beautiful.
Great choice.
It was freezing. I have not rode Tiana's Bayou yet. Bayou.
Bayou.
Um, yeah, have not rode that yet at Disney World or Disneyland. So I was like,
Ooh.
I'll be there for Princess, so I'll be able to get on then. But it was freezing. It was so cold. It was like
Was
in the
it?
lower
Well,
50s.
that is very cold for California.
I was like, why is this cold weather following me? Like from Marathon Weekend to Disneyland? Not
Mm-hmm.
okay.
The spirit jerseys are having their moment in the sun. Always.
And we were exhausted, so like we did not stay for Phantasmic. I don't know, have you guys seen it? Is it much different?
So I used to be a proponent that Disneyland's Fantasmic was better.
Used to be.
Th- Then Walt Disney World updated theirs, and this whole post-COVID Fantasmic, where with Moana, Elsa, Mulan, my favorite. I haven't seen Disneyland since the dragon came back. Um, However, I haven't seen it since really right before the whole world caught fire. So I guess I guess I gotta go see it again. But my preference is because it was still closed when I was there for Coast to Coast last year from the Great Dragon Fire. So I think I think it's Walt Disney World is now the winner. It used to be Disneyland though, because it's so
Okay.
intimate. Like it's because Tom Sawyer Island is the backdrop for Fantasmic there. So it was so like kind of intimate felt and like I don't know, all the nerds during the day would go over to Tom Sawyer's Island and like do like Mickey's little like when he shoots fireworks out of his fingers in the beginning, like his little like do. Um as a collection where there were like a bunch of people in line like to like pretend they were Mickey Mouse and Fantasmic. It was mutual understanding. Like we got each other of like, okay, you're here to do the same thing too, that you want to pretend you're Mickey Mouse, but you're too tall because you're not 5'2". Um, that's another thing altogether. But take a disc
We
out.
are
I'll get down
we are
there.
proud fan people, so no shame.
No shame.
All right, so then what did you do on 10K day, Saturday?
Yes. So we went to Disney California Adventure. I loved that park.
See.
Loved it. I don't know. We did the Incredicoaster, we did Spider-Man, the Web Slinger, Toy Story Mania. What other rides are over there?
Mission
Oh,
Breakout.
Is
yes. Rode that twice. Loved it. Um, yeah, so we only had a 2-day park ticket, but that day inspired us to get a third day for Sunday to
Incredible.
waste time at the park between the end of the race and by the time our flight left.
okay.
Been there.
So, yeah. And then it was the lunar
New
Chinese New
Year?
Year.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Ooh. Were
So
there
there was a
tasty
bunch,
snacks?
there was a lot of snacks. It had more of like an Epcot feel because there were different booths, like with different treats and everything. So that was very cool. Um, I just love that park. I don't know. Like if I would have done DCA first and then went to Disneyland, I feel like I would have been disappointed.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah, because
That's
this,
interesting.
yeah, because DCA was definitely an all-day park. I did have to go back for like an hour rest because I'm like, I know we're gonna be up late and I have to get up early for the race on
True.
Sunday.
Hmm.
Ooh. Mm. All right. Gonna pick your brain a little bit.
Okay.
Uh between Mission Breakout and Tower, which do you like better?
Oh,
It's
I
hard.
it is hard. I really liked Mission Breakout. It wasn't as not saying Tower of Terror is scary, but it's not as scary as Tower of Terror because
Hmm.
there's just like the
Okay.
different scenes from Guardians at the different like drop points.
Okay.
So fun fact about that. Mr. Natalie, I think he watched a video of Tower of Terror from Disneyland before they changed it to Guardians, and he went into Tower of Terror at Walt Disney World thinking that it was kind of like Haunted Mansion, but you just went up and down more casually and stopped to see scenes. That's why I think he watched a Disneyland video because he goes into Tower of Terror at Walt Disney World not knowing he's going on a drop coaster or like a drop ride. I was like, "Oh, I can't tell you if it goes up or down first." He's like, "What do you mean?" We're standing outside. He's hearing screaming, and I'm like, You really want to do that?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, I'm like afterwards. I'm like, "What did you think was going to happen?" He goes, "I thought they were people were just having fun." So I think of Disneyland and their tower because you or at for Mission Breakout you pause on the scenes a bit, and I think that the Tower of Terror prior also did pause a little bit more, where he thought he was basically getting on a dark ride that went up and down when he got on the Tower of Terror.
Oh.
Don't get me wrong, like those rides still freak me out. And I'm like, okay, well, I see this 5-year-old in line that's gonna do it, so I can do it. That's what I have to
True.
tell myself.
I was a not 5-year-old. I was like I think maybe almost in middle school or something age, however that old that is. And I still couldn't ride that ride. Didn't start enjoying that ride until like as an adult. It scared the bejesus out of me.
I feel like it's my security blanket, like if I'm at a seat against the wall. But
Mm.
like if I'm in the center, then I'm like, no way. And of course, my first time riding Guardians, I was in the center in the very back row, and I was like, okay, well, here we go. But
And then
I did
start
it.
floating.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what are some other replica rides where I'm sure that if it was cold, you didn't do Grizzly River Run.
It was
Yeah, I'm sure.
closed.
Yeah, I figured it was closed as well because that in Cali River Rapids at Animal Kingdom are pretty much the same ride. Ooh, back to Disneyland for a second. Dinosaur versus Indiana
Oh my
Jones.
gosh, yes. I was like, Indiana Jones is literally exactly like Dinosaur.
Yes.
I mean, I
Like I
think
was
it's dinosaurs like indie based on timeline, but
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Didn't indie come out before Dino?
It was pretty close.
Okay.
I
Well, they
think
are
you
the
are
same
right.
track.
Yeah, I think you are right, but it was pretty close just with the DAC opening timeline
Yeah.
versus it was a later add-on to Disneyland Park, but
Mhm.
But it was literally
Oh,
like the same exact track. So I'm like, if people miss Dino, like go over to Disneyland and do Indiana Jones.
yeah, and then we're gonna get our own Indiana Jones, so
yeah, I've been like secretly in my head thinking like what if this is all just a big joke and they're telling us they're going to close it, but really they're just not going to change anything and turn it into an identical Indiana Jones. They're just messing with us.
Dr. Seeger did not lose or get put on a pip for this. Hashtag justice for Dr. Seeker and
We
his,
love Dr. Seeker.
and him actually like breaking the rules and like a fireable offense at his job, like for all of us. But it's okay.
Whew.
I'm trying to
Okay,
think of
so
what other rides, but I think that's it.
is which one's
Um,
Soren in?
Oh, uh, I don't know, but we did that one too. I think I like Disney World better.
Okay.
is it the California version right now in California, or is it World?
California.
Okay. Ooh, interesting. Because last year, I swear, when I was in at Walt Disney World, it was California, and then I went to Disneyland for Coast to Coast, and it was World. And you can imagine I was confused.
You're like, where
I
am
didn't.
I at?
It's like because the only other times that I had been on the California version was in California when they had brought it back for some seasonal treats during I think their summer, during whatever, during prior visits. But it was the only other times that I had done California since the world came about were in California. So I was very confused. It was awesome though.
Now, because you loved the park so much, did that have an impact at all on your race? Like, did you feel was it hard to wake up? Was it
Oh, yeah. So, and that, so let's see. Oh, and then we also did Cars,
Oh
Radiator Springs.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, I love that. We did end up paying for the lightning lane though, because I was like, I'm not waiting in this line.
Mhm.
Um, Especially because I was like, I don't want to be here all night. So worth it. I love that ride. And it was
Did
so
you do it
cute
at
at
dusk?
night. What?
Okay, so you did do it. You were. I was going to ask if you did it at night.
Yeah. I was like, I need to ride this ride at night because it just looks so cute. And Tomater, it was so weird, like walking through cars, like during the first of the day, and I was like, oh my gosh, like Tomater's out. Like it was just so weird, like just seeing him like drive around.
Oh, it's so funny because Kristen, our coach Kristen, it describes it like this of like when you're at Disneyland, you kind of feel like you're just watching people's day, like the characters' day. Like you are kind of not interrupting, but you're just kind of watching them do their thing. Where it's like, oh yeah, Mater's out, like he's just vibing, or like
Yeah.
it's so funny.
I always see the TikToks of Disneyland where the characters are like on an adventure. Like I think the most recent one I saw was Peter and Wendy looking for Tinkerbell and like tapping on all the lights, running around the park tapping on the lights to see if they can hear Tinkerbell.
Oh, that's cute.
I sort of wish we had at least some of that at Disney World.
And we're too feral in Florida.
Yeah.
I guess. And then I don't know, maybe they're just like trying to do something different from Universal because that's more how Universal is that all their characters are sort of out and about doing stuff. There's not really like meeting points really. So, I don't
Yeah,
know.
we like ran into Jesse at Disneyland. And then I think Mickey, I don't know. It all blends together. But there were characters out and about. And the amount of people I did not know what Dopey was, the amount of cast members.
Oh, yeah?
It was crazy to me because I was wearing my Dopey shirt and they were like, Dopey. And I was like, yeah. And they were like, what is that? So I like had to explain. And then at one of the stores, because I had like a dopey bag and a shirt on. And the one cast member was like, oh, I really like all the purple you're wearing. And I said, yeah, I said, I just did the dopey challenge. And she's like, yeah, we need more dopey merch. And I was like, yeah. So I don't think she knew exactly what I was talking about, but I was like, it's fine. Like, I don't expect them to.
I
But it
mean,
was just weird.
they do only have 2 races a year out there right now.
Yeah.
So, there probably is a lot less run Disney exposure, and a good
Yes.
chunk of the race isn't in Disney, so
Yeah.
I don't know. That might be why.
No. Yeah, no, definitely. But it was nice though because like obviously there was more Run Disney people there. So like I was
Mhm.
like, "Oh, like you're doing this, like you did Dopey." Like it's very cool to like vibe with people and talk to them about like, "Oh, like you did this." Like, "Oh, you're doing Princess. Like I'll see you in 2 weeks."
Yeah. The camaraderie is super duper cool, especially when you do weekends so close together of, it's like 2 weeks after, like it's still kind of recovering from dopey. It's like, here we are. It's really interesting, the camaraderie, and it's kind of like the like subtle understanding, I feel like, with everybody of like, we're here to finish. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. So to finish my Saturday, so I wanted to see the One Color of One water show
Oh
because I was
yeah.
like, I really want to see it. I don't know when the next time I'm gonna go out this way is. So and I booked us a lightning lane for Toy Story Mania. And I accidentally booked it for like 9:15 to 10 o'clock at night. And I was like, there's no way. Like after this show, I want to go back to the hotel and go to bed because it's already going to be late. So I was like, I'm just going to go ask the one cast member. So I think his name was Joshua. I did a cast compliment because he helped us. And I was like, I have this lightning lane booked, but I'm like waking up early to run the half marathon. Is there any way we can go on now? And like it was 7:30 at night. He's like, absolutely. And I was like, thank you so much. So he like
Whoa.
bypassed me and my friends' lightning lane and let us go in. Cause I was like, I really appreciate it.
That's
Kindness gets you
awesome.
far.
Yeah. And then we stayed for the show and
How
then
was
went
it?
back. It was so good. I loved it. The water, all the colors,
So
amazing.
cool.
And I always like tear up at all the Disney nighttime shows. So I'm like, oh my
Same.
gosh, so cute.
They know what they're doing with that music.
Yeah.
Right in the heartstrings.
Yeah.
All right, and then you went to bed?
At like 11 o'clock at night. Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was rough. That was so rough.
All right. So then tell us, how was your first standalone half marathon?
Okay, so I was talking to a lot of the runners in our hotel the day before. I was like, what time do you guys wake up? Because for Disney World, I'm
Mhm.
like up at 2 a.m., first one on the bus. Like, I need to be rope dropping security. I need to be rope dropping corral opens.
Mhm.
So, like, what time does everyone wake up? They're like 2:30, quarter to 3. And I was like, what? Like, that stresses, like, I can't do this. They're like, well, security is 1 block away. So I was like, okay. So I set my alarm for 2 a.m. and I walked out of the hotel at 2:25 and I was at security by 2:30.
Whoa.
Like walking there, so nice. Highly
Dang.
recommend. Um yeah, so then by the time we got through security, gear check was on the opposite side of where you were. So I was like,
Okay.
great. Like, I'm going to be in the back of the corral now. Like, what? Why am I bringing all my medals? Because that was the only thing I gear checked. So
Okay.
I went to gear check, checked my stuff, got to my corral. I thought, so I was in C. It went to I.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it was just like gate, like fences, well, like metal, like gates that
Okay.
like separated them. And so I thought I was in C, and I was like standing there like talking to people, and the one cast member was like, "You know you're in D corral right now. Like you can move up to C." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." Like I had no idea. So then I got up. So even with that, I was at the front of my corral, and it was 2:45.
And you had to
Oof.
wait till I assume it starts at 5 as well, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Uh, that's a
Or
long
no,
wait.
I'm sorry. I think I'm an hour. What time did I get there? Let me look at my timestamps on my phone.
felt.
Um,
This is what we do as well. We go usually pull up our photo library and check like when did we send said selfie that we were on the bus? When did we look do
right.
this picture?
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm an hour. So it was actually like 3:30 in the morning, and I was
Oh,
at the
okay.
corral by 3:45.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry,
Oh,
everyone
you're good.
listening.
So you got to sleep in a little bit then.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. That's
Yep.
nice.
So the race started at 5.
Honestly, like I know, especially like being with a lot of the Dopey to Dumbo folks last year, and I was gumbo. Um, by half marathon morning, knowing that I'm like, hey, there's no pre-post characters in the parking lot. There's no like they send most of the wave of the corral out at once. I'm like, there is absolutely no reason for me to get here early. So I slept in. Like I slept in. I was like, I don't really have like I think I didn't even bring my gear check back. Like whatever. I was like, oh, there's no reason. I'm like, this is honestly awesome. I
Yeah.
like like I know that's unpopular. I'm like, oh no. The fact that I like don't think I even left my hotel until like times that would give me the shivers for marathon day, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was definitely different because like you said, like there was no pre-characters. Getting to the corral, like not even like late, but like I was still in the front. Like it was just so weird to me. And like the pre-race shows were way different. The screen was so small.
Mhm.
They had one screen at the start
Oh, okay.
line, and then the stage was very small right
Okay.
next to the start line. So I'm like, how does everyone see this? Like I
I
am
think the
having
answer
trouble
is they
seeing
don't.
this. Right.
That's a bummer.
But yeah, so I will say like that's one thing that I wish that they would fix because
Mhm.
it was just hard and like everyone wants to see it.
Hmm. Do you think they can hear it? Like, do they have speakers further back?
They did have speakers.
That's good because they didn't last year, and I know they got a little better at Halloween, and then so that's good.
Well, don't quote me on that because I actually don't know what it was like way behind me.
Oh, fair.
Hmm.
I think I've heard that it's getting better. That situation that they're working on it. They are taking the feedback. That's what I hear.
So yeah. So pre-race entertainment. It was good. So the race started at like 5, and it was weird that all of the corrals like did get let out at once.
Mhm.
I think there was only like a 4 to 5 minute in between each corral.
Do the corrals feel smaller than Disney World then?
Yeah, but there was 14,000 people that did the half, so I don't know.
Between
Wow.
maybe between 9 corrals?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot bigger than last year. Sorry to keep comparing to last year, but it's just trying
No,
to like,
good.
like I
I
haven't.
love it. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Um, I like hearing that. Though. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm like shocked like that they were able to fit everyone because the corrals definitely did look smaller and that they were only doing one wave. Like here everyone goes.
Mhm.
How do you feel about that versus, like, the kind of the unknown of, like, am I in this, like, subwave? Am I not? Like, because I didn't know for the marathon, I didn't know I was gonna I thought I was going to be in the next subwave. I'm like, "Oh, shoot, here we go." I thought, like, I didn't realize I was in C1. I was like, "Oop, shoot. Start the Garmin, start the Garmin."
I forgot my Garmin at the hotel that morning.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I got there and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I don't have my Garmin."
Are you a, if it didn't get recorded, it didn't happen kind of person, or how did that make you
Um,
feel?
I
Did you
just
feel
took
naked?
pictures. I took pictures of each mile marker so I would know my time. That
Mhm.
timestamp
Amazing.
on those photos.
And you'll have your official bib, like, times too, so it was
Yeah.
recorded. I feel I've done a few runs without my watch on, never like an event, but every time I do it, I feel weird.
I was like, "Can I
Like,
go
may
back and just add it?"
you probably I mean, if you have a
Manual.
Garmin, probably, I don't know, they have a lot more flexibility than Apple. Apple's rude like
Yeah.
that. And so how was it? How was the race?
It was the
Give us the
first.
play-by-play.
Yeah, so we started, I think our start time was like 5:10 AM. Because I was like trying to see how much of a buffer I had from like the
Mhm.
very last people, but I was like, "Oh, I'm in C, like it goes all the way to I, like I should be good." And I'm still like have this like little cough from marathon weekend.
Mm,
Ooh.
Not that it's like not that I'm contagious or anything, but it just like won't go away. So I was
Mm.
like, "Okay," but I'm like, "It's not raining. It's not 500 degrees." Like it was like 50. It was perfect.
Mhm.
Um, so the first like 4 or 5 miles were through the park, which was amazing. Running through like Cars Land, not Galaxy's Edge, Avengers Campus. Everything was like lit up. There were characters out. That was really awesome. Um, Running down Main Street, so weird that there were no spectators.
oh, yeah.
Yeah. There was just cast members, which they did great. Like, they were cheering, but just, like, being used to running down Main Street with spectators, it was just so weird. And, like, looking back in the castle so little. I'm like, it's just so little.
So small.
Do they have a
Um,
castle, like, photo opportunity there as well?
I think they did, but I'm just so paranoid of, like, am I gonna have enough time to stop for photos?
Mhm.
And if I
I
could
know
have,
that
like,
feeling.
yeah. So I was like, if I could have foreseen the future, I definitely would have had plenty of time to stop for pictures, especially on like Pixar Pier because that was all lit up and it was still dark.
Oh,
So I was like, I
yeah.
definitely could have stopped and taken a couple pictures, but it's okay. During the parks, like that was when most of photo passes were
Yeah.
available because I did not know what to expect like running the streets of Anaheim. No idea. So once we got through the parks, it was all streets.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they weren't allowed to have characters on the streets because I was like, oh, like where's the characters? Where's the photo stop? Photo passes. There
Mhm.
was nothing. Some of the spots, like running through the streets, were so quiet. Like there was no like spectators.
Ooh,
I
interesting.
mean, I could see how that makes sense because it's so early, like, most I'm gonna go with local race that you register for because that's the most comparable, like, normal any race that's not at Disney, you're not running through a park, you're running on the streets.
Yeah.
And but no most local races don't start at 5 a.m., so, like, you get spectators along the course and stuff. I would feel but does it feel eerie? Because like, that's what
Yes.
I anticipate with it being dark and no one being out there.
Yes. Like don't get me wrong, like there were like handful of spectators here and there, which was great. But then there were some parts I was like, where are we running at?
Yeah. And did you
But
feel safe? Because I've heard before from some people that that have people have felt, mm, so-so about running through Anaheim
I
at
definitely did.
Disneyland. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't feel not safe.
That's good. We love
Yeah, because
safety.
I like there were only a few spots like where there were no spectators. The police cars, they had like Disney music playing from their cars, so
Aw.
that was cute. There, yeah, but the spectators that were there were amazing. There was this older couple that had a table of like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and pretzels and water and
Oh.
Gatorade. So I like took a half of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Never did that in a race before. Never will get that at Disney World. So I was like, okay.
Very nice.
Yeah. 10 out of 10 for the course though. It was so flat. No on
Oh,
Nice.
ramps, no
awesome.
nothing.
Oh, yeah. That's like my least favorite part of Disney races is the on-ramps. They
Yes.
are for sure why I injured my ankle the very first time, and they're killers.
Yeah. 10 out of 10 for the course though. Like it was so flat. I wish Disney World was flat like that.
Mhm.
The weather was perfect. Yeah. I don't know. And then finishing the half, like Jeff Galloway was at the finish line. Carissa was there. They had Safari, Mickey and Minnie, and Pluto.
Okay.
Oh, the wristband that they give you for coast to coast.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. The person that put mine on so tight.
Oh,
Ooh.
no.
Mile 12, my right hand was so swollen.
Oh, no.
I
Oh.
could have cried. I texted my
Oh.
friend and I said, I need this cut off my wrist right now. I sent them a
Ouch.
picture of my hand. It was so bad because my left hand was fine. So I was like, I took enough salt tabs or whatever, but I was like, my right hand is going to fall off. So
But
I
I
wish,
mean, if they put it on tight, like you're saying, like it doesn't matter how many salt tabs you're gonna take because
I
it's gonna
know.
restrict the
Well,
flow
it
of
wasn't like tight,
stuff.
like from the beginning. There just wasn't enough. Like, if your hands do get swollen when running, like, I don't know. I wish there was a different way than the wristbands to say that you're coast to coast eligible.
I feel like they should just I mean, I guess they don't maybe know I don't know how in far in advance they print the bibs, but I feel like there should be, like, an additional sticker or something they stick on your bib if it's coast to coast eligible or something.
Yeah. Like, instead of giving you a
But then you
wristband,
can
like, give
peel
you
that
a
off. I know
sticker.
there's reasons. I know
Yeah.
there's reasons, but
Yeah. But that was, like, the only downside of the wristband is my hand was about to fall off, but
so pro tip coming from Jess, if you're ever gonna run coast to coast, maybe put an extra finger space gap or something in between
Yeah.
your wrist and the band.
yes. But then
Especially if you
it's
get it day 1 of the expo, and then you're stuck with it until you're done.
Oh
right,
my
which that
gosh,
was
yeah.
fine, though. Like, that was fine
Yeah.
leading up until mile 12 of the
Mhm.
half.
Yeah.
Fair.
We talked about that with the swelling. I don't know if my wrists were I mean, I'm sure they were. We Natalie and I were looking back at some of our, photos from post Dopey, and if you look at photos of me before we ran any of the races to the day that we're taking our Dopey medal photos, my face is so swollen from
Oh,
the, like,
no.
water retention that I had going on from all the sodium I have to I'm a really salty sweater similar to Natalie, and so I take a lot of salt during a race, and so then I retain a ton, which is good because then I feel good while I'm running, but I look different.
Yes, same. Same.
It's called a glow.
Yes, the salt
Okay,
glow.
Natalie. Not the salt crust.
Yeah, no, because I get crusty. So, and I was crusty the other day, like where I don't know if my husband has quite seen the level of crust before, but I was crusty after my 12 and a half. He was like, "Oh." I'm like, "Yeah, no, this happens every time.
We've seen it
Usually I just
before when you do your stoop talk post run. Um,
Chronicles."
I've seen it a few times. Like you can see it. Like on me, I feel like it
Like
doesn't
on
show up on camera, but on her, it's like she's got like where
like a
goggles
raccoon.
would go. Like yeah,
Yeah.
she's got like raccoon salt rings around her eyes. Bonkers.
I'm a salt raccoon, actually.
Yeah. I remember the first time I ever had swelling in my hands from, like, physical activity, and it wasn't actually from a run. My boyfriend and I, like, spontaneously decided to go for a hike, and did not plan ahead and did not bring enough water or salt, and we were out there for like 6 hours, and my hands were like swollen sausages of like, if I had been wearing jewelry, I would have cut off circulation. I wouldn't have like it was so bad. So, me thinking about like that for you with that wristband, ow. I
Yes.
don't know if I would have made it through the race. I would have been like, I don't care.
Yeah, no, I definitely, like, walked because I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm in so much pain."
Oh,
Last mile felt like an hour, but it wasn't. But as soon as they gave you the coast to coast medal, there was a girl standing there, and she's like, "Can I cut off your wristband?" And I said, "Yes.
Please.
Yes,
please.
please."
Otherwise, it's straight to the med tent. Chop chop.
Yeah. That's where I was about to go, but the fact that they had someone there ready
They
to cut
knew.
off wristbands, that was perfect.
Did you feel good throughout the race? Did it like
I
go to plan? Did you meet like was the goal to have fun? What was
The
the
goal was to have fun and to just get the coast to coast medal.
mission accomplished? Bang
Yeah,
bang.
and that was my second half marathon ever. My first one dopey, this one, and now I'm ready for number 3 for Princess.
Yeah.
Fast track.
Yep, fast
Awesome.
track. The Safari Mickey medal is so cute.
It looks really cute.
Yeah. Post race, they still gave you there was blue Powerade on the course.
Oh,
Ooh.
okay. Not yet. We had blue 2 seasons ago, I think, at Disney World, right?
Yeah. It's like swapped. I
They
know
kind of flip-flop.
my very first half marathon was blue because I couldn't stand the sight of it for a while. I'm like, I can't because it was also bajillion degrees that year for Princess. So I was like,
Mhm.
I can't no more.
That's how I felt
I
about the yellow for the marathon.
I I'm the weirdo. I'm the exception. You can keep feeding me as much yellow. I will never be sick of yellow Powerade or Gatorade or yellow flavored electrolyte drink. But like to the point where again, shout out, hi mom. My mom listens to these and we were talking on the phone this weekend and she was saying how my dad got the flu and she was picking up some Gatorade for him and he likes yellow Gatorade as well and she was like, "It's just like you. He can't get sick of yellow Gatorade." It was funny, but I love it.
And then, but at Disney World, they normally have like different flavors of Powerade, not the one that's on the course, but they just had blue.
Ooh, okay.
Huh.
Yeah. But the photos and stuff, like there was no like post race characters,
Mm.
like the paddles that they have. There was none of that. The
That's I feel like
Paddles?
the thing I miss the
like
most
the
is
I did
like
it.
yeah.
Oh, gotcha. So there's no post-race photos at all?
No, there
Period? Or just not
are
character ones?
characters. Yeah. No, there were like
Oh, okay.
lines for
Gotcha.
photos. Very
Okay.
quick. And then to get out of the race parking lot, I got lost.
Oh, no. That's
I
like
was
my
like,
nightmare.
I don't know where I'm going. But you had to like walk all the way to the end and then out, which was nice though because I was able to watch like the last like 45 minutes worth of finishers and I'd
Aw.
cry cuz like it's just so emotional. I
That's
loved it.
nice.
I loved watching it.
Did
And
you
then
see
did you
the
guys?
last one come
Yes.
across? Oh, that's exciting. I've never stayed. Natalie has, but I've never stayed
Mhm.
to the end of a race. Usually up until like marathon and wine and dine, I've always not been feeling well because I hadn't really mastered fueling yet and I've needed to like book it back to the hotel because I don't feel good.
I would highly recommend.
Maybe for Princess, since I won't have anyone besides Natalie waiting on me and really Natalie will finish before I will. So maybe we'll get some extra spectating done.
Yeah.
Me and my beer cup and our vibes.
Yes. There was no beer.
I know.
I was like, do they have beer cups? Is there going to be themed? But there wasn't. But that's okay.
Do you think
It
it's because of where the start line is or yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a liquor license thing for a parking lot where I don't know I wonder if Walt Disney World can get away with it because they own all the land
Yeah, it's their
around.
property.
Yeah.
But it was kind of, it's again, it's one of those things where it almost felt kind of nice to, I was like, well, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna go shower so I can get back to the parks. I'm out.
Nice. Was it a
uh,
quick turnaround then for you, Jess, after you were done spectating to like once you figured out how to get out
Yeah.
to turn around to get back to the park?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it took me like 10 minutes to walk back to the hotel. I showered and then we went back to DCA.
Nice.
Yes. And then I had a red-eye flight that night. So that
oh,
was
hold on, we're
very
not done with
fun.
DCA yet.
Oh, yeah.
Um, no,
No.
I want to hear about where you went to celebrate,
Um,
knowing
so
you
we
went to
went
this one.
to Lamplight Lounge.
I love late flights, so I'm
So
obsessed.
good. I had to get the mimosa flight. I was like, I am getting this if I finish or when I finish.
Love.
And then I got the kids' French toast
Ooh, yum.
Ooh,
meal. Yeah.
What's on the mimosa flight? Is it like
different
strawberry
juices.
like flavored? Like is it different instead of orange juice or something?
Yeah, there was one like plain orange juice one, and I don't know what the other flavors were.
But they were
They were
that
good.
were they but it was like a substitution of juice, is that or was it like an addition, do you think?
I think it was a substitution.
Okay. Interesting. Just curious.
Yeah, they were good though, but I don't know the flavors.
That's
It
fine.
just says seasonal flavors online. I tried to look because it piqued my interest. So seasonal.
One had like a
So
raspberry on like a
ooh,
toothpick for it.
ooh,
Another one
fancy.
had like a piece of watermelon.
Mm.
Mm,
Yeah, I wonder what quote unquote seasonal is in Southern California.
yeah.
Orange. Wait, that's Florida. Uh wine. Oh wait, that's northern. I don't know. Something or other.
And then did you re-ride? Like what how did you guys spend the day since you obviously loved it so much that you went back?
Yes. First I got pictures, metal pictures in front of Pixar Pier.
Love.
I've
Important.
never done metal pictures at the parks
What?
after a race, ever.
Oh.
That's like
Yeah,
all I did
I've
this
never done
last
it. So like I'm bringing my dopey medals to Princess so I can do that.
yeah.
Honestly, that's probably better anyways because I have no idea what the weather will be like, but it'll like even with all the princess runners, if they want to, there's no way it'll be the level of insanity that marathon weekend was. So you probably plus you have your um capture the moment, so it should be easy peasy.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Wow.
So rerode Incredicoaster, Spider-Man. We went to Pim's Kitchen. I got another drink because I was like, I'm in pain. So
Oh.
Felt.
can't walk. It's fine. And then we did Guardians again. And then I was sitting there eating lunch and I got a notification that my flight was delayed.
Oh,
Oh.
what does that just mean it's the next morning? Like, cause red eyes leave and like they're the last flights of the day slash first of the depending on your perspective.
Yeah, we had a layover in Vegas and our flight was going to be delayed to miss our connection. So I was like, cool, we're staying another night here. But thankfully, so we flew Frontier on the way home, and I was like, cool, I'm just gonna have to pay for another flight, like not expecting much. But since
Mhm.
we were gonna miss our connecting flight, they let us change our flight to whatever, and even from a different city. So we changed from LA to John Wayne Airport
Oh,
Oh, okay.
nice.
for free. So I was like, yes. So I was like, cool, but it was for a 6 o'clock flight, and at that point it was 3:30, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're still at the park. We have to Uber back to our hotel and make it there. So I was like panicking. We get to the airport at 4:30, boarding's at 5:20, and I was like, are we gonna make it? Like we have to check our bags and
Stressful.
stuff. Yeah,
Ooh,
very
that's tight.
stressful. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, if you just have carry-ons, like, it's still tight, but, like, probably gonna be okay, but checking baggage, you're, like, right there on the line
Yeah.
of when they'll even accept it.
We're
Yeah.
not gonna talk about my airport habits.
But thankfully that was fine. TSA pre-check line was so long and I was like, "Oh my gosh," like I was like, "Can I go down the line and like ask these people when their flights are? Like, can I cut you?"
I mean, you
But we
can
made
try.
it. But our flight was also delayed by an hour, so all of that panic for nothing.
Oh,
Hate travel.
Yeah.
Love travel
So
because I love being on planes, but I hate that part of travel.
yeah. So thankfully we like made it to Vegas and then we were on the same returning flight to Cleveland that we were originally on. So it left at like
Okay.
11:10 p.m.
Mhm.
And then yeah, and then I landed in Cleveland at 6 a.m.
Okay.
So it was very long. But taking a
Mm.
blanket on a long flight with you is game changing.
it is.
Highly recommend.
Yeah.
I like love the little neck pillow too. Where I'm
Yep.
always like, "Do you really need this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I actually do. Thank you very much."
Mhm.
Like it's just it hits different.
I
Yes.
wanna try one
Blanket.
of those, the ostrich ones. I wanna try one of those. You
What?
don't know what I'm talking about. You guys have no idea. You're giving me such weird faces.
No.
There's there's this one that's like, honestly, this is gonna resonate for Natalie. I don't know about you, Jess, but it kind of looks like you've been attached to a like brace, like a neck brace. Like it looks like half of a neck brace.
It's like the ones that's like it's like kind of almost like a lump where you kind of just like put
Yeah,
your little
it's
head.
like tall, like
Yeah.
it's like it's padded, but it's like on one side, and then it's like a fleece that sort of like velcros around your neck, and like you just
Ooh.
sort
Oh,
of
I
boop.
have seen that. Okay. I have seen that.
There's also the one that's like, and maybe this is the not the ostrich one. Maybe the ostrich one is the one where you put your hands inside and then like go like this. It's like a pillow head situation. I don't know. But there's so many different ones out there, but I think that one would be interesting. What a tangent.
I have trust issues with other people and their tray tables because without fail, every time I pull my laptop out now to work, it the person behind in front of me like tilts back. And it's definitely your right to do so. It's just like when I actually have like things
But
to do where like then I'm like crunched up like trying to do those things in my tray
yeah.
table.
It's
Like
fine to do it. Just look before you do because if someone's eating, you're either going to throw stuff all over them or if they're working, you might break their property. So just like
yeah.
look
Oh yeah, yeah,
first.
yeah.
Hmm.
Like changing lanes, look first.
Yeah.
Look before you leap. But yeah, no, it's just one of those. It's like, and it's like always so abrupt. Where I'm like I know to expect it now, so I just like yank my laptop back. But like without fail, like I feel like if I tried to be a tray table sleeper, like with that type of pillow, it'd be like in the head.
I can't. I'm too
Uh
tall.
oh, I no, I don't think I could either because like I feel like personally like just being like kind of crunched up like that just wouldn't be comfortable
Mm-mm.
uh for me. Plus, I don't usually sleep super well on planes either. Like the fact that like on the way home from marathon weekend, I was out before the plane took off. Like that's a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, I got nervous because normally I can only sleep for like 45 minutes on a flight. So I was like, cool, a 4 hour flight, but I was exhausted.
Yeah, I bet. You only
That's
had,
nice.
like, 3
4 hours
hours
of
of
sleep.
sleep? Yeah, 4?
Yeah. Thankful
No,
though, so I could sleep.
you always think it's longer because of the time change because you go in the opposite way of the time change or you go with the time. But it's like, oh, 11 to 6, that'll be great. No, it's like we're gonna land in 3 hours and 52 minutes. I'm like, shit, I'm not asleep yet. Good times.
Yes.
So what's next for you, Jess?
Princess Weekend.
Woo!
The fairy tale challenge.
Love it.
We'll see you there.
Yay.
Yes.
We are
So
also
how would
doing
you
the
rate
challenge.
Disneyland overall?
Yeah.
Oh,
If you want, we
I'm
can
not.
do, like, like, food score, park score, race score, and then we could do, like, an amalgamation of all of them.
Yeah, the parks. Oh, I don't know. I won't be mad if I don't make my way over there again. I
Okay.
Ooh.
definitely prefer Disney World over
Okay.
Disneyland. Um, red flag, Disneyland did not have Joffrey's coffee stands anywhere. I was like, I need my Joffrey's. Like, where is it? So
Joffrey's
I don't.
is local to Orlando, isn't it?
I think.
Oh,
I think
maybe.
so. I think
I
that's
just always,
potentially contributing factor.
yeah, I just always like match that with Disney. I'm like, okay. Like
Fair.
they did have Joffrey's coffee at some of the stands, but it wasn't like everywhere like Disney World.
Mhm.
The rides, the ones that are the same at Disney World and Disneyland, I'm gonna say like Pirates was better at Disneyland. Um, I
For
can't
sure.
even think of other rides. Like Big Thunder Mountain. What other
Did you do
rides?
Space Mountain?
No.
Okay.
No.
I
That's my
have
favorite ride of any ride.
I like Oh, did you do Buzz Lightyear?
Oh yeah. Yes. I like that one better at Disneyland.
Okay.
I'm I'm not as good at that one.
Is the
No, I
aiming
really am not.
harder, or are there just less, like, high value targets, or what do you think it is that makes that harder?
I have a lot more years of experience on the Walt Disney World one, so I know more of how to aim, and I know more about the targets. I know it's more that I have, let's see, I don't even remember
Muscle
how old I was.
memory.
Yeah, like I got a good 20 years of experience on the Walt Disney World one, so I'm still learning Astro Blasters out at Disneyland. Um, what's interesting because you said you haven't done Tiana's yet on either coast since it switched over. I used to think that Walt Disney World had the better version of Splash Mountain
Oh.
because Disneyland's was nightmare fuel.
Oh.
Like way creepier. The music was way creepier, like very much like I understand how a child would be scared of this
Oh
versus
my
I
god.
remember my first ride on Splash Mountain and I was just like, "Oh yeah, whatever." Like the birds are kind of creepy as you're going up the hill, but whatever.
Mhm.
Um no, it was way creepier at Disneyland, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I don't know how Tiana's necessarily differs.
I don't have firsthand experience, but what I have been hearing through the grapevine is that it might have switched, is that people think Disneyland version is better
Oh.
now.
I wish it
So,
wasn't so cold because then I could have tested it out.
Because they have more single rider lines there too, which I appreciate as somebody who most of my trips have been solo at
I think
Disneyland.
that skews people's perception of rides as well. Not like whether there's a single rider, but just like the wait times of how long you wait for something affects the, like, value people associate with the ride if they have a good experience based on how, like, was it worth the wait? And so if they have a lot more single rider lines and people are able to get through faster, then, like, you might feel like you had a better experience because you were able to maximize your time or you didn't feel like you were waiting around as much. So
Yeah.
we need a full scientific study on that.
Defunct land. They do. Well, that's more about the different iterations of fast pass and paid things, but yeah, that is interesting. That's I think you're one of the first people I've ever heard say they like Disneyland Buzz better. Actually no. Most people they can hate from outside the club. Okay, I love Buzz Lightyear. Did you do Autopia?
Yes.
Isn't it way
Yes.
smellier there?
What?
Okay, maybe
So
I'm
you need to
just
give context because I don't know what you're talking about, and there may be
Oh, okay.
listeners who don't know what you're talking
Okay.
about.
Autopia is Tomorrowland Speedway. They're similar. So like little car thing where like when you're really little and it's like, wow, I get to
Yeah.
drive a car. And then you're going to the rat race of your corporate job and you drive all the time.
Mhm.
But I feel like the fumes are way stinkier out at Disneyland. Like whatever they have in Autopia, maybe it's just that there's just nothing around to mitigate it. But the first time I tried to ride it, like, 5 years ago, I, like, I had to bail out of the line, like, it was just whatever the gas fumes were just got me.
Uh,
I did
Aren't
this
they
last year.
didn't they announce recently that they're moving all the vehicles over to be electric?
I feel like that's been on the rumor mill for a long time that they were doing electric vehicles. I'd like to
I
see
think
I
I
think it'd be cool to
saw an
see.
official, like, press release about it though. This like, about, like, a timeline for it. I'll have to look it
hmm.
up.
So
We'll confirm
imagine.
or something later.
I like it's, like, cool because I feel like it's a little bit more scenic in terms of well, Tron has taken over some of the space of old, Tomorrowland Speedway, but I feel like it's more scenic out at Disneyland, but I, like, was holding my breath a little bit. So I guess it's just a me thing with the fumes.
Yeah, that did not stick out at me.
Well, that's good. I don't know, maybe I'm just sensitive to whatever it is, and for some reason, I forget when I'm at Walt Disney World. I don't know, but
I have found the press release, guys. I found it.
oh,
LA
Oh,
Times has it mentioned. Their plan is to have all the rides, all the cars on Autopia in Disneyland to be fully electric by fall of 2026.
neat.
Possibly because it's so stinky. I was really shocked to hear you say that just because knowing about, like, the manufacturing, world and, like, how, air quality is measured and all the restrictions we have in that space, that they could even get I know how they get away with it, but that it would be much harder in California because the amount of land you have, like, dictates what emissions you're able to have because emissions are measured at your property line. And so, like, Disney World owns so much land, they could probably do whatever they want, whereas, like, California, the parks, like, butt up to other stuff.
Right.
So, I'm shocked to hear that it's, like, potentially worse than Disney.
Maybe the emissions themselves are fine, and it's just this I don't know. I don't know. Somebody please validate the fact that Autopia, like, these fumes are at least different. Maybe they're not bad. Maybe they're not worse, but they're different. I'm not crazy. I am. It's fine. Okay. Um, kind of your how did you feel? I know you're a pass holder at Walt Disney World, but kind of how lightning lanes are a little bit different where you can't start it until 7 until you tap in. How did you feel about that?
I felt like we had to go to the park first thing in the morning to get the first day at like DCA, like we started with Incredicoaster because I was like, oh, like we can get a lightning lane. But I'm like, oh, the wait time is literally a walk on. So we wasted a lightning lane that way. But um I liked it. I don't know. I hate that like it's like, oh, like pick this next ride and that could be all the way on the other side of the park. So
Mhm.
it was very like back and forth.
Yeah, that is fair. I
But
definitely prefer the, like, tap in and then plan from there because I mean, not to bring out my ass here, but so I had to work a couple of the days and I'd already bought park tickets, and then I assessed my PTO situation. Don't recommend doing it in that order. But I also knew with like working East Coast hours, like Midwest hours, that I was had some time where I remember going in, I'm like, shoot, because I'd already added the lightning lane because I bought them through Undercover Tourist. I'm like, all right, did I just like light some money on fire? And I remember being pleasantly surprised the availability because I didn't tap in till 3 into the parks because I thought I was going to go tap in like before, like maybe like at lunchtime, but I forgot that security there is not how it is at Walt Disney World, and they had to
yes.
inspect everything, which is fine. I already get a special tickle when I bring my laptop in. So from security at Walt Disney World, I didn't see it going well at Disneyland if I tried to bring my laptop with me to Disney, like because and my boss knows that I do this too. Like
It's
I've
sanctioned.
taken a call. It's sanctioned. I've taken a call from Epcot. Pluto has photobombed a call before. It's sanctioned. He thinks it's funny, but I so it's gonna be like, ooh, like where am I gonna go today, and maybe like take a couple hours of or do a couple hours of work from. And I realized with the security system, it was maybe not. Um, so I remember thinking, like, I remember being very pleasantly surprised what all was still available that late in the day. Because also then I wasn't staying out too late because I had races and whatnot. I was a little more lax with my bedtimes there, believe it or not, but it was just interesting. I think the difference is I think I prefer that system though.
Yeah. Security was way different. I don't know. I feel like people they look like locals and that they go all the time. Like you should know to open up your bag
Mhm.
before you
It's like
go to
the
make it
Yeah.
airport.
easier. Yeah. I feel like they should have something different though, because like the lines were so long to get through security. And it's like just open up your bag so they can look in and just follow directions.
How did you find race security? Because I think even between the 10K and the half last year that they improved things because I had to get like flagged for my bra strap. So with like the metal dinged, so I had to get like wanded down.
Race security
Intense.
was fine. I feel like there was
Okay,
like
good.
5 people in front of me.
Okay.
I do remember seeing some lady that had like her gels in like a Ziploc bag and not in like a actual like wrapper. And the security guard was like questioning her. And she's like, these are just my fuel, like gel. I
This is
don't know.
basically a fruit snack, man.
Yeah.
And I think that there's also some just growing pains of them learning what it's like and like this is like what race security is like this is what like because I remember when they had to search because I always wear my waist pack, I wear my hydration vest for longer ones, but where they had to search like my little waist pack, and I get it, but like they're kind of like peeling through them like there's like not a lot of space in there for you to like there's nothing fun's going in there in the first place, but like I think I had a little mini hot sauce in there, so maybe that was what did that. But like because I remember like 10K day, like I had to get like searched like 3 times. Because then I dinged, but then or I had to have everything searched, but then by half day they were kind of just like a walk through type of thing because I had my like vest open to show this is just water in here. Um so I remember even like improvements, and it's there's certain things that are growing pains with like not being used to running races and stuff like that. And how did you find cast members?
I just walked and looked for people.
Oh, I mean in general, yes, but like
Oh.
how did you like I did not phrase the question particularly well. How did you like the demeanor of cast members, the like I
Oh,
stuff like that.
Were
okay.
they
I see.
friendly? Were they helpful? Were they
Yeah.
excited?
Yes, they were definitely friendly. I'm gonna say they're not as friendly as Disney World,
Okay.
but they're definitely still like friendly and helpful. Um, I didn't really have to like ask them much. I did notice like a lot of the rides, like at Disney World, like the bars like shut themselves.
Mhm.
Where at Disneyland, it's not. It's like every ride you have to like pull down your own lap bar. So I feel like they're just over use of like push down on your lap bar, then pull back up.
Ah, interesting.
Oh, forgot. I did go back to the expo the last day, and there was
Ooh.
still a lot of merchandise left.
Oh,
I
that's good
bought
to
like
hear.
a windbreaker, and I was like, it's a sign because it's still available. Um, I was gonna be okay with just buying a magnet, but I was like, okay, like I need something with Disneyland on it. But there was still a lot of merch left.
Mhm. I feel like they're getting better each and every like weekend about the merch
I wish I could.
situation.
Dopey though, like the hoodie was sold out by 10:20. I know I got one too by some lady
I'm
on
wearing it for the
Instagram.
listeners.
I was so thankful. Some girl on Instagram was like, I'm not finishing Dopey. So if anyone wants this, and she sold it to me at the retail price, and I was like, thank you.
Those are the good ones. Those are the good eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I was considering not keeping mine, I was like, well, I will just give it to you at what I paid.
Hmm.
I am not going, like I am not going to go to Disney jail or just bad karma jail by trying to
Nope.
um do
I feel
that.
like not okay. I'm not trying to be mean, but like I feel like the people who obviously I'm not a fan of resellers, so I feel like everyone should just resell at, if they don't want it, just sell it at what you bought it for. But I feel like that's like the equivalent of like breaking a mirror in Disney karma. Like if you resell above price, then you bad karma for 10 years or whatever.
Yeah, or like get caught like at your next event that you're gonna go to and buy 10 things of and sell them for $200 on eBay.
Mhm.
Yeah. No.
Even
Absolutely.
5K morning at marathon weekend, because it was the most awake I was on the bus, I went ahead and scrolled on eBay to see what had already been posted, and the dopey sweatshirts were already up for, like, 250 plus.
That's crazy.
I'm a Club Run Disney Gold member, and I swear I see people taking pictures for their eBay listings, like, while I'm still trying on to make sure that, like, which size I'm gonna keep, in the expo, and I'm like, "You and I are not the same. You and I are not the same." Um, yeah, that's a whole thing about how you actually curb that because then the resellers will just buy a bib, and that doesn't really help things, so, like, if you
Oh,
make it bib
yeah.
only, but ay, ay, ay.
Hopefully
It's a
Princess is
whole rabbit
better.
hole.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic, because they are enforcing in the app, like, not purchasing like, you can't mobile check out, too many things. You can make different orders, so take that as you will. But it's not like you can't add, like, 6 pins of the same type of pin to your order.
Mhm.
That actually, because it wasn't enforced last year, um, because I ended up with an extra 10K metal replica, and then I brought it back to I put the fish back in the wild, because I was surprised I was able to actually mobile check it out. I also have 2 of the coast to coast metal replicas from last year. Again, I blacked out. I don't remember why I have 2 of them. But I'm holding it for trade with somebody for, like, a metal replica I'm missing.
You know what else
So
she
I'm
found
holding.
recently that she didn't know she bought? A shoe ornament from Princess last year. She was looking through metal replica pins for an Instagram post we wanted to put out there, and she didn't know she had it, but she found her shoe ornament amongst the metals.
I was like, "Wow, it's so weird." I don't know why I wouldn't have bought the or the shoe ornament from Princess last year. That's weird. I did. I just in my defense, right after Princess last year is when we were starting to get ready to move.
Yeah.
And also I got married. So we closed on the house in April and I got married in May. So I knew that, like, moving date would be, like, in June. So I was trying to, like, stuff that I knew I wasn't going to use, like Ren Disney costume stuff, like different, like that kind of stuff all got boxed up pretty immediately. Cause I'm like, all right, clean, the clothes are clean. Like, this stuff's clean. It's going into the box. Cause I do not need you before we move. So I think that's what happened is that with all the because it was with its metal replica pins from Princess last year. So I think that's just what happens is that in my brain I was like, oh, perfect place for that. Great. Not like with my other ornaments, but right with all that stuff. And lo and behold, I'm like, oh, cool.
Mhm. Jess, is the magnet for you your, like, "I get this at every race, so I have, like, the collection"?
Yeah. Yeah, and I like to put it on my car so
I'm
people can
afraid.
see what I
You are
did.
braver than I. I'm afraid someone will steal it. I have them on a, like, metal drawer thing in my office.
That's a good place for them too.
Ooh.
But people that go to like Character Warehouse on like iDrive or whatever, like there's so many magnets left over from Dopey and there's for like $4. So I'm like, I think I'm just gonna risk it, like going forward and just have someone pick me up them
Mhm.
after the race weekends.
Yeah, because you can get a personal shopper to do that
Yeah.
if you don't live like, I don't live I mean, I live closer, but I don't live that close.
Like where you can
And
make a day trip.
yeah, I mean, we've discussed it before that, like, could I? Yes. Should I? Probably not. Um, but I did try and go after Wine and Dine this past
Hmm.
year. I went to both Character Warehouses actually on my way home, stopped at both in hopes that maybe they had already moved, race merch over. They had not,
Mm,
and there was nothing really they had generic, like, Run Disney stuff there, but nothing really that, like, screamed at me that I needed to get, which is kinda bummer because it is really marked down. Oh, I take that back. I bought myself a lounge fly. The very first lounge fly I ever bought was at Character Warehouse.
I don't own a lounge fly.
Don't if you don't want to get into that, don't do it because it feels like, how in college, they tell you breaking the seal. It feels like
Yeah.
that. It's a slippery slope.
Nope.
So how many lounge flies do you have now?
So in November, I had, or September, whenever, I don't know when it is, I had 0. And then I went to Character Warehouse and got that 1. And now I have 4.
Oh, wow.
There's only been 1 that I've bought full price. That was Marathon Weekend. And the other ones I bought resale from someone on Facebook for like half or less price. So
Okay, that's not bad.
it's not so bad.
2 for 1.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. You're helping somebody else clean out their stuff. You're really just you're doing them a service. That's what I'm
exactly.
hearing.
Yep. Mom, take that in. Register that. I don't need any judgments.
Out of curiosity, because that just made me think of buying things off people on Facebook, and there's somewhere I'm going with this. What's like your costume vibe? Out of curiosity for races.
hmm Are you a color
Um,
block? Are you a tutu? Like crowned? What's the vibe?
I don't own any crowned.
Me either. Same
Okay.
for Nat.
Okay.
Kind of. I have a shirt on the way.
Ooh.
Ooh.
My very
Uh,
first.
so like legging, like running pants, and I get shirts made for like each like race theme.
Oh.
Cute.
But lately I bought 2 sparkle skirts for
Nice.
marathon weekend. The one like the
Okay.
Adobe Strong one,
Me too.
and then just a red sparkle one. But
I have the plain blue sparkle one as well. So, yeah. I like
yeah,
sparkle for the like what it is for the price. They're in like the lower price bracket of like skirts for running.
yes,
The one thing I don't love, I wish they would make a longer version. I know they say they're meant to be worn on your hips, not your waist, but
they always go up
I
to my
they
waist.
always go to my waist. I don't know if it's because like my hip to waist ratio is quite different. Nothing's staying on my hips while running. It's gonna go to my waist. I don't care how I size it. So I wish they would make a slightly longer version.
Yes.
That would be appreciated.
Yeah. But for Princess, I'm dressing up as something from Aladdin, so I'm super excited.
Ooh. I love that.
Yeah. So hopefully it turns out good, and then I'll be sure to post a picture.
Love it. It's interesting because sometimes it also evolves over time where I used to be very much like a this is stuff I wear at home because I was so paranoid for a while where I have my chafe butt cheek story of 2022 and that made me very paranoid about like what I would actually wear to run. I'm like, I can't do a costume. I already chafed my butt cheeks on a 10-mile run. So and then things have evolved since then. Things have evolved since then because mostly like my personal style is like accessories on top of running clothes I already own. Like if I can rewear something, the bang for the buck, I am so in. I am so in. Like, it's like, oh, I've worn the probably maybe not the exact same pair of leggings for every marathon, but like because I have multiples of the black leggings, but I
Mhm,
think I've worn the same leggings for every marathon so far. And then princess. And then, so I try to like accessorize enough to get the point across. I'm
mhm,
going a little bit more elaborate these days. I feel like we're like like kind of like scooching into that with like the different, more elaborate like accessories and whatnot. But it's always interesting to hear how different people do different things, and I love the
mhm.
creativity.
Yeah. I started super basic. Like my first ever race weekend was literally just a pair of running shorts that I already owned, and it was Toy Story themed, that's or Pixar that springtime, and I literally bought a red running shirt that I knew I would rewear because I love the color red. So to me, it didn't feel like I was buying a costume piece. It just felt like, well, I've trained all this time. I might as well like get a shirt and like I'll wear it after. But it also conveniently matches the Pizza Planet hat that I bought, and just said I was a Pizza Planet employee. That was like my costume. And it was really just my running clothes happened to match the color scheme. Whereas now, like, for marathon weekend, I was straight up dressed up as Lady Liberty in one of the group costumes that involved holding props and a dress over top of running clothes. And I'm still not anywhere close to like Disney Lane um,
Oh, she's so
territory.
cool.
Her costumes are like, whew,
Incredible.
yeah, but it's definitely evolved. And my family definitely thinks I've gone from like 0 to 180 very, very quickly.
But do they see the costumes at Disney for these races?
They see the pictures later and they saw them for themselves when I was at marathon weekend. My parents came to cheer. So like, yes, and I think they get it a little bit more. But my family also asked at Christmas, like, they've been making in a nice way. I love my family, just so everyone knows. But like, they'll be like, I didn't even know you liked Disney. And I'm like, rude. And now it's my whole personality.
Literally. Like, who would have thought that I would be running all these races? Not
Yeah.
I.
No,
Nope,
not
none
at
of us.
all.
Did you ever run before? Like run Disney, or like did you have a
Nope.
sport? Were you athletically inclined in any way?
Yeah, I did volleyball,
Ooh,
and
that's
I
fun.
still coach. I coach high school volleyball for like 11 years now. So it's like
Wow.
I'm not athletic because I do that. But like running, there was no way. But now it's like, okay, like let me sign up for every race. Like perfect season next year, maybe.
Ooh. I'll have to
Happens to
save
the
up
best
for
of
a
us.
while if I want a perfect season, I think. Like that will be the year I do a perfect season will be the year we don't go on like any other kind of like vacation or take any other time off for I'll need all my vacation days for that.
Yeah.
Won't have any money for other things.
Nope. It's fine. Do it
If
for
it
the
brings you
medals.
joy, then like go for it. Everyone makes their own choices of what they want. It doesn't have to align with what other people think is cool.
Yeah, I'm like, I could be addicted to other stuff, but like it's running at Disney, so it's fine.
Hmm.
Exactly. We're all good here
Yeah.
in the Claire Brielle fam.
So, Jess, is there anything, you'd like to shout out? Where can people find you on social media? What?
You can find me on Instagram, Jess Runs Disney.
All right, we're so excited to see you at Princess Weekend.
Yeah,
So,
I'm super excited. You guys are doing a meetup.
yeah. Do you think you might
Yes.
come?
Yeah. You'll have to like
Thank you
remind.
for bringing that up.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for reminding us because I don't think we've posted anywhere like finalized times or anything.
Or
So,
date. Like
or
which
date.
date we're gonna do.
No. So, if you're listening to this and you're like, when is it? Then, look on our Instagram because I'll make sure that we actually post it
Yeah,
and
we
I'll
don't know
pin
either.
it so that, yeah, because we don't know either.
So when
We
you
have a
do, post
location,
it.
It's
courtesy of
still,
Mr. Natalie.
I mean, it's still location is set, just like time, not so much. And
Locations.
for like pre-race, that will be like near the DJ booth. We'll meet and then find somewhere to take a photo.
Cool. I may or may not be there though because I'm like first in line for
That's fine.
corrals. I get
Natalie's
nervous.
usually like that, but we're gonna have to hold her back a little bit
We're
sometimes.
breaking me of it. It's good. The puppy is now pottying outside and not just on the pee pads or breaking a habit. Uh I don't know why I needed to go there,
What
but
was
that's
that
just where we went.
analogy?
Well, like when you're trying to like I don't know, house train your dog to like go outside, but you put the pee pads down in case they do pee in the house. I don't know. We're the habit of me like needing to be at the front of my corral when I start like where I do, AKC or like a POT corral where honey, you don't need to be at the front. You're gonna save yourself 4 minutes at most. You don't need to do that. We're housebreaking me.
Okay.
Let me know how that goes. But
Um,
until then, I will continue to do that. Even if it is
yeah.
only 4 minutes, don't even care.
Yeah, marathon was such a turning point for me, and I still ended up first wave of C accidentally. So, because it was one of those, it's like, do you really need to like you can settle down, you can settle down, and then I didn't settle down actually at all. I think I was in my corral by like 4:10, maybe
Marathon
4:15.
weekend taught me that if I can still like finish well ahead of the balloon ladies and I didn't even get into my corral till after they send the first people off and I missed the national anthem, then like everything's gonna be fine.
Yes.
The day I DLS is a dangerous day.
It's coming. I know it
It
is.
If I achieve a springtime bib, if I do end up at springtime, I probably will be locked out of POT. So I probably will just DLS anyway. Um,
We'll
don't
turn
quote
it
me
into
on
a
that.
fundraiser. We'll turn it into a fundraiser for your Chicago if you get one.
Yeah. Yeah. T's and P's. Um, do not need to be doing that, but
Oh.
it'll be fun. I don't know.
Well, thanks for being here, Jess. This has been so fun.
Thanks for having me. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to our next race event.
I know.
We can't wait to see you.
Same.
All right, there's
Thank
no like
you.
there's
Okay.
no like graceful exit. We just sort of like stop.
And cut.
We're all Midwestern. No one knows how to end anything or say bye.
True that. If you enjoy listening to our show, please leave us a review and a 5-star rating. We love reading your reviews out loud, and you might even be featured on a future podcast episode. We've also started a community spotlight on our Instagram at Stride Sisters Podcast. If you want to be featured for a Medal Monday, Finish Line Friday, or any accomplishment you want to celebrate, send us a picture via our social media platforms or our email. All the ways to connect with us can be found in the show notes. We also have recently started a Facebook group. You can find that information in the show notes as well. Thanks for listening. Until our next adventure, we're wishing you endless miles of magic and memories. See you next time.